this new competitive environment, we have one mission: prove ourselves. But of course, there are always obstacles that lie ahead. And the most challenging of all?
Where is that?
Group work.
Hello. Hi, Anna.
Where the hell are you?
I just overslept. I mean,
It's 4:30!
really? 4:30? Yeah, I'll be right there. Just give me like 5.
We defy all things that stay in our way.
Wow, you're such a rebel.
Despite of how prepared we may seem, we all get tested past our breaking points.
Okay, Jimmy, I know that everybody knows. We can do this. We're gonna nail this presentation. Just let me get on. Okay. We're gonna do it, okay? No worries. We're basically done. What is this? I'm reading this theory, but what does it mean?
No matter how much work we have to deal with, we always have time to party. And in the end, it all comes down to a battle of greatness.
We chose to show our research in the form of a trailer because we thought that was a rather fun and engaging way to show our creative process here in our home elementary building. And also, this is a kind of a metaphor because after the trailer you're supposed to see the whole movie, and after university comes real life.
The way we put together the video for Dash 3 complies with the atmosphere we wanted to create in it. The music is energetic, the colors are vibrant, the scenes shift in a fast pace. There is humor, irony and silly faces because this is what our lives are like, fun.
Our group work always begins from the first meeting after each assignment is given. This is when we set the direction for our research, assign tasks within the group, decide on how it will be structured and presented.
As media students, all of the tasks we discuss allow us to further our understanding, especially in terms of visual representation.
Instead of making a typical vlog where we documented our lives as media students, we came together as a group and shared our experiences that we have on the course so far. We find there was recurring themes and experiences, and so with this information we decided to create a trailer style video.
The term ethnography has come to be equated with virtually any qualitative research project where the intent is to provide a detailed, in-depth description of everyday life and practice. The value of ethnographic research conducted in a variety of social, cultural and physical contexts is that it can encourage us as social scientists to be open to possibilities and to imagine new ways of thinking about what might appear too familiar to be worthy of in-depth consideration. This is what we found during our digital ethnography research on technology in the Yale and Terry building. When it comes to media, it is rather obvious that it is entirely dependent on technology, may it be digital or not. This is why, in order to efficiently exploit their potential, media students are provided with entire studios and laboratories, which are of course fully equipped with state-of-the-art technology. And since all of the equipment is both complex and expensive, students are required to attend tutorials and learn how to use it properly. Enough about media. What about performing arts? Dance and theatre students carry out their practices as follows at the dance studio or the theatre, both situated on the top floor of the Yale and Terry building, and both equally difficult for outsiders to gain access to. Those students could just as well be seen practicing in the hallways, because the most essential technology they make use of is the movement of their own bodies. And music? We'll let it speak for itself.
Any of the songs were, I can't remember.
Just play something nice.
this week's task, we had to identify space, uncover its history, and then figure out a way to disturb it. So we sat down as a team to discuss the task ahead.
Will we want to disrupt? Like, where would be very interesting? Not no churches or
What about the Transport Museum?
right?
Yeah, they love students going in there.
Yeah.
Like literally, they do. But I don't know how to disrupt the museum.
It should be a place with lots of people in it.
Well, it's full of old people, so
How can we disrupt the place?
So it's a museum about cars and transport.
Yeah.
So the opposite to transport is being stationary. So
It was
would
just
be
stand there. Yeah.
Just stand still in like.
Yeah, and people will
Oh,
walk in.
you know, or not even stand still. You know, like how there's that advert like a long time ago when you were in the car originally, and then they just like took away, so you literally look like you're sitting on the thing. We could try and do that, make it look like we're in a car. Like,
Yeah.
people drive cars like that.
Stand still and make weird noises. You know, like imitating a car.
Yeah. Oh, imitating a car. Oh, what's that song? Yeah. And then we go like some of us going. And the tweet to sum up this conversation: Godiva striptease no more, they see me roll in the Transport Museum.
Coventry Transport Museum is located in the centre of Coventry. Opening in 1980 after its road transport collection outgrew its spot in Herbert Gallery, it is now known to have one of the finest collections in the world. It was originally a gifted collection of cycles to the city by Samuel Bartlett, for having its first motor vehicles added to it in 1952. With a plan all set, permission from the officials and our cameras ready to go, we went down to the museum to disturb the space. It was at this point we realised there was a mishap with the emails and we weren't allowed to film at this particular time, so we made a swift exit.
I use Twitter, Snapchat, that's social media, right? And sometimes Facebook, but not often.
It's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know if Snapchat counts as one, but
Yeah.
those are like the four main ones that I use, and then there's like Tumblr and everything else on the side.
Yeah, I think I use Twitter the most. Well, no, Snapchat the most, yeah.
I'd have to say Twitter, just because it's a lot easier to interact with people. I mean, Facebook, it's more for friends, but Twitter's like what I use for like my coursework, my uni work, my work stuff for socialising.
Too much about 4 hours, 3 hours, but it's like not in a constant way.
Probably a good 4 hours a day, like a lot.
I could say nearly half of the day because your phone's always there. So yeah.
Do you believe that social media plays an important role in your friendships?
Yeah, it does, because at the moment, since I'm from Romania and I'm in the United Kingdom, I have friends and family back home, and it helps me communicate with them.
I guess it plays a role because you can, if you see one thing, you might think, oh, I wonder what she's talking about, and you kind of get a bit paranoid, and then you're like, oh, I'm not talking to her no more. But yeah, I don't know. But I think you just try to not let it affect you that much.
I think for communicating it does. Not on Twitter, more so for Facebook especially, but for Twitter it's more just communicating back and forth with colleagues, not so with friends.
Yeah.
I think there is because
Good balance.
yeah, it's a good balance.
I would say it's more online than offline communication, but more because most of my friends don't like live around me, or so I would actually have to text them or like something like that.
It's somewhat unbalanced.
Would
I
you
think
say
that's,
it leans more one than to the other?
yeah, I think it leans more to online for me.
Since we managed to get our interviews on the spur of the moment, we did not have an extensive discussion beforehand. This is why we had our discussion after filming, where we analysed the results.
I just think interviews are easier.
Why so?
Because we was able to get people so quickly, whereas if we done a focus group, we'd have to organise times to meet everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to schedule everything quite. Yeah. And it just happened so spontaneously that people came in and were like, yeah, I do want to do an interview, you know?
And it's easy to get when we say that it's interview one-on-one, not in group.
Yeah.
People are comfortable with it.
Yeah, also in a group, some people might not speak, so you might not
Yeah,
get all the answers you want.
Discussions are quite fruitful at some point, but when you have a discussion, people tend to influence one another's opinions.
Yeah.
So when you're having an interview with someone, you're just hearing their account of how things are, and so it's quite honest and not influenced by others. So it's interesting to see different points of views, whereas if you have someone expressing their opinion, there might be others who would agree automatically. In the course of our discussion, we came to an interesting conclusion about how the way people use social media differs depending on their location, or more importantly, the people they are surrounded with.
Another thing that I noticed is that in the UK they use more Twitter or Snapchat more than Facebook.
Yeah.
Really, I was very shocked with it because in Greece and everywhere else in Europe, they use very much Facebook.
Yeah.
But here everyone has Twitter and is on Twitter, and I don't have Twitter.
A whole new culture of using social media.
I started Snapchat when I came to the UK because I didn't have it. I didn't know what is Snapchat when I was in Greece because anyone used this. So when I came, I saw that everyone using that, and it was very interesting because the student life is different than your previous life.
Yeah.
So you have to share more pictures and videos from the clubs, from new places to go. For example, I show many new places in Coventry on Snapchat or foods that I can go to eat from students in Coventry and Snapchat. So it was very interesting.
Don't forget to thank your cookie on this historic occasion.
Good
Hello.
to see you, Cookie.
Verna, kiss my black ass. Andre. Now. Lucius.
You out of your damn mind. Walking in here looking like a little bitch. Get over here.
Lucius, no! Lucius! Lucius!
He never picked me anywhere. Why? Way too much homophobia in the black community.
It's 2015. Nobody cares. There's football players coming out.
There's food.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Give me a kiss.
You know.
Hello. Hello.
Our fourth task was to analyse a TV programme of our choice using Mary Beltran's criteria, a series of in-depth questions which analysed the representation of diversity. We chose Empire. The criteria allowed us to explore if the characters were fully realised as individuals, producers' perspectives and knowledge on the non-white characters, and whether the series promoted a natural diversity. When reflecting on the new diversity in television, Mary Beltran also mentioned that Empire, as a TV series, is an example of greater racial diversity in television, not just in the form of background characters that add local colour to the stories of usual white leads, but in series with lead characters of colour and narratives about non-white families, workspaces and cultural communities.
From television studies' key concepts, we identified two means of representation. Meaning 1, to represent something, to depict it. Here in Empire, the show is depicting the life of a family who run a multi-billion-dollar company. Despite that only a minority of people have this life experience, Empire the show could never give the audience a truthful depiction of the world that they have constructed.
I smelled the garlic, but
it was very faint.
I couldn't really smell anything there.
Yeah.
As much.
Like, it's my expectation for like smells of coffee, because coffee's so distinct. I was like,
maybe because they're open space, the cost is open.
And they do more than just like coffee, they do like chocolates and fruit drinks and that.
I'd say it's quite a strong smell.
Yeah, distinctive.
In some way, I think it's sexy, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite,
it's
quite a seductive smell.
Yeah.
That smells good. I think it's quite a warm smell. Like when I go into coffee shops, I think I just breathe through my nose, so I get like everything's And then going on, we went upstairs to the antique. Is it called boutique coffee house?
Yeah,
it's boutique something. I didn't smell anything. All I smelled was like the Rapture.
Yeah.
Cafe. By far the cutest one.
For me, I'm not that keen on coffee, but when we walked in there, proper smell it.
Yeah, it's like proper like good wholesome space.
And I like the atmosphere.
Yeah. Quite an open space, even though it's so small, all the glasses are so open.
Yeah, it's like sour. Yeah.
So what associations do we have with coffee? Like smells?
Got bitter, chocolatey, bright, sharp, snappy and dry, earthy, fragrant, fruity.
It can be quite earthy.
Spicy and sweet.
And spicy. Yeah, I had a coffee the other day from, I think it's called Vinegar. It's like there's a place in Birmingham New Street, and he smelled like dirt. I was like, this is awful. I spent £3 on dirt, but when I taste it, it tastes lovely, but it smells like dirt. I was like, because sometimes I can put you off, and it's like, I don't want to be eating.
No, you don't know what taste it.
This week's stars we had to
A little bit louder.
For this week's stars.
For this week's stars.
I'd say the most challenging task was probably I'd say the first two, because first of all we're trying to find our feet in terms of how we're going to manage ourselves and how we're going to do the tasks, especially with some of us working outside of the campus. But with the one where we did a trailer, there was just a lot of work to do. There was a lot of planning for such like an extravagant idea to pull off correctly.
And it took a long time to edit.
Yeah. I think in terms of interest and exciting, I quite like the smell task. Like, I think that was fun to go around all the different coffee shops because you don't do that every day.
Oh yeah, just like
you just
smell.
It's never like it's weird, but
that was fun.
Yeah, the super
smell, especially like when we brought in like the idea of coffees from different cultures as well. Like how you said coffee was sour, and I was like, what? So it's interesting to learn not only like ethnography wise, but on a personal front as well.
I think I'd say that the most challenging one was probably the space disruption.
Oh yeah, that was too much. That was just I've learned that communication is very key, but I also learned that at business A level as well. But I think editing as well. Like you could have a storyboard, everything mapped out, but when push comes to shove, where you have to start like scrolling and tapping and using all these tools, it does get very hard to achieve the image you want in your head to come out onto the screen for everyone to appreciate.
I think for me, editing is something that I really got a lot more skilled in. I literally started off without like having edited much before, but like a vague idea of how things work.
And then like how sensory is related to ethnography.
That's
also weird, but
Like also all the biases that come in ethnography, like you yourself, despite being the ethnographer or the researcher, you come with your own biases, whether you're subconscious or subconscious to it as well. And a lot of things that seem obvious, like you look into them, you're like, oh, like with the reading or representation, when they said the first meaning is to present or re-present, which is basically the word broken up.
Yeah.
Then when they talked more detail about it, you think of it in a different way. So what's one thing we're going to take away, do you think, from this module?
Or editing is actually Jana will take editing.
Just drag it all to trash. Don't need you. What I quite liked about like the videos when you watch them is that they're all from different perspectives depending on who edited them. So they kind of opened up like they kind of had like some discourse there where they opened it up for more conversation and more like understandings and interpretations to be taken from it. Like my interpretation of space, which is the main one you'll probably see in the video, is probably quite different to everyone else's around the table, despite the mere frustration that we all got kicked out of the Transport Museum. Like, yeah, you're not we did it. Okay. Hope you enjoyed the video.